going on, my dudes? Thanks for hanging out and drinking with two dudes and a mic. I'm your host, Mike, and as always, I'm sitting across from my favorite dude, Gus. What do we got going on today?
Really looking forward to this episode.
Yes.
Really, excited.
Season 2, man.
Season 2, yeah.
This is the premiere.
The beginning.
The beginning of, well, the second season. Not the beginning of the beginning. That was last year.
True.
Yeah, this is a new one. With hits like the Billboard charted Black Holes and one from their newest album, Hidden Gems, called Shaking Off the Rust, we have Juno-nominated Tarek, Jafar, and Justin Tessier from the Bluestones. Welcome, guys. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
The dudes.
Thank you for coming in, guys. Thank you.
Here with the dudes.
So what we're about to do is the first show shot of season 2.
Yeah, first.
And we're staying true grapefruit vodka.
It's just, you know what? It's the easiest.
Tarek, you gave me a look. You were like, oh.
How did this come about? Why the grapefruit?
So even before we started the show, I got turned on to it. Somebody's like, hey, you should try this. I was like, okay, cool. And then I just did a shot, and I was like, I don't need to chase anything with this. This is really easy to drink. And then became an alcoholic, and that's where we're at.
Well, I mean, that's what it comes down to. We do this show weekly, so
grapefruit.
It's an easy one to do.
All right.
I'm trusting you on this.
Yeah.
If you don't like it,
Mike, no,
there's a spit bucket.
It doesn't matter. It's going down.
Honestly,
It's going down the hatch.
All right,
Getting
ready?
a lot of
So here we go.
grapefruit
The
on
first,
the
the first shot of season 2. Everybody listening, guys, girls, all the dudes. Here we go. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay.
See, like no chaser needed.
Exactly as advertised. Grapefruit vodka.
We definitely got to do that.
We chased it anyway with some beer.
Well, it's not a really chaser. It's a follow-up drink.
Yeah.
Chaser would be immediate.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful. I'm gonna get hammered on your show.
We won't allow you to do that until after half point. But yeah, thanks for coming in. And you were boxing? You just came from boxing?
Yeah, Border City Boxing.
You box?
Baby. Yeah.
Are you
Great
good?
spot. No.
You don't have bruises, so you must be somewhat good.
No, I don't actually like spar. Well, I mean, not yet. I don't think I'm ready for it. I think if I were to spar now, I'd get my ass beat.
Really?
Yeah, it's just some of the guys that are there. Because it's like training for boxing is one thing, and then sparring is an entirely different thing. You think you might have the energy for it, but you won't actually train for sparring until you get in there and spar somebody.
So you're not boxing somebody. You're like hitting a heavy bag or something?
Yeah, it's like heavy bag. It's all just like endurance training and hitting heavy bags and like double end bags, and then like somebody will put on like pads, and they'll like call out different combinations for you to do. So it's all like training in anticipation of going to spar. But I haven't actually sparred with anybody yet.
So you never sparred with Justin? Would you fight him?
No.
No? He's a big dude.
It's honestly, it's like the biggest thing about boxing isn't even like power. It's all endurance. All of it is endurance, man. Because like it doesn't matter how hard you can hit if you get tired in 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to get tuned up.
So it's basically like going to the gym while learning how to beat somebody up?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's by far the best work I've ever done. And then on top of it, you're learning how to do something, which I kind of like.
Yeah, that's true.
So
good reflexes. We learned that with Meany, with Chuck Meany.
Yeah.
That it's not the size of you, because you're a big guy, but Meaty's about the size of you, and those punches, man, they hurt. You were bruised for like a month.
It was close to a month.
He's a boxer?
MMA.
MMA.
Yeah. Oh, MMA. Okay, got you.
Those punches hurt, so I guess it doesn't really matter what the size is, but it's how you use it.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not the size of
that.
Anyway,
The technique.
do you do any boxing or like sports? Or
Oh,
anything?
no.
Nothing.
No.
Gaming?
I sit at home and drink.
Do you do games?
No. Yeah. Both of us game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big
Okay,
time.
hang on. Here we go.
Big time.
This is either going to shut the show down right now, or we're going to continue talking. Xbox or PS4, PS5.
PlayStation.
Yeah. PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the way.
PlayStation.
That's for the real gamers.
Yeah. Yes.
Although honestly, I think I'm gonna buy a PC.
That's fair, and that's fair to say.
And
buy a
we
PC.
are gonna turn off crossplay.
Yeah, there'll be no more crossplay.
Motherfucker. I'm so tired of
can't
people
stand it.
scripting. Like, God.
Well,
you know what?
that is a thing.
Even just playing like with a controller versus a computer, the
Yeah,
response time
absolutely.
on a mouse.
Well, the
is just,
precision you can get with a mouse.
yeah,
Exactly.
you can't compete with that.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
thing is with a computer is you're going to have to upgrade that thing like every 8 days.
Yeah, but yes and no. I mean, like you can probably play it on like different settings. You know what I mean?
So once you get down to like 20 frames per second,
well,
you're like, okay,
that's the
it's
thing.
time-
As long
it's
as
time to upgrade.
you keep those frames per second up, like
60 is
probably
what
gonna
you
be
want.
okay. Yeah.
So as soon as it goes under 60, then you're like,
Okay, a lot of people say that. I'm like, yeah. I mean, like you're gonna get more motion blur after that. It's not gonna seem like it's choppy, but you get blur. So I don't know.
but it would be harder to see like fine detail, right? Like if you see a little guy hide, I don't know, do you play Call of Duty?
Yeah.
So somebody hiding in a bush or something and, sniping at the very end of the game, you wouldn't be able to see that if you're running up a hill and it's ghosting.
Yeah. Like because basically it's like 24 frames per second is like cinema quality, right? Like
Is it
that's
really?
like a movie. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So, but that's where you get like motion blur, like cinematic motion blur and everything like looks, it's like when sports, there was a bunch of movies that started shooting in 60 and it looked like hyper realistic. It looked like a home movie. And that's why people were like, what's going on here? But like, it's still like at 30 or 24 frames per second, it's still like one seamless image. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're not going to miss anybody unless you're like turning quickly and then it's all blurred out.
Yeah, ghosted out.
Yeah. But yeah,
Don't
60
go
is
to
ideal.
PC, because then we're never going to be able to play against you. Are you guys good?
We're getting pretty good.
I
man.
mean, I wouldn't say we're like, diamond tier or anything.
No, but we're getting pretty good. We've had our fair share of victories now.
Yeah, on the release night when we because everything hits DSPs, like streaming platforms at like midnight. So the Thursday before Hidden Gems came out, we were like doing a live stream from Tarek's living room of like the vinyl of the album with all of our fans. That was really cool. And then we jumped on Warzone because we're like, yeah, we got to celebrate. We got to celebrate release night. And we got back-to-back wins, and it was like, how could this get better? How could this get better?
That's awesome.
Amazing.
So I don't know. We're okay.
Yeah.
We're all right.
We're not.
We've got some wins.
We can move on.
Yeah, we got some W's.
You know what? Okay, so we took a couple of months off between seasons, and like we all did our own thing, kind of, whatever.
Yeah.
And we didn't play Call of Duty at all for probably 3-4 months.
It's probably 3 months.
3 months?
Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't touch it, and we just started getting back into it, and it's like, is everyone getting better?
Yeah,
Is everyone just amazing?
Yeah.
Or is there like cheats that we don't know about that everyone else knows?
I feel like it's a combination. Like people are getting better, and we also didn't play for 3 months. So as they were getting better, we got worse.
Yeah.
Also depends, because like every new season that they have, there's a new set of guns that are now the most powerful, and people are like leveling up these guns now.
Yeah, that's a huge problem for me. Like I didn't do whatever the next one is, Black Ops or whatever. So I don't
Cold War.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I don't have those guns in multiplayer, so I can't level them up as fast. They have to be leveled up in Warzone.
Yes,
so,
and it's
Yeah.
my
15
loadouts
minutes a game.
Yeah.
20
Man, you
minutes.
gotta do plunder. That's the key. That's the move, man.
All right, tonight after the show.
Yep.
Yeah, just plunder.
That's what I'm going to do.
That's how you do it.
Drunken plunder. Well, thanks for coming in, guys. We appreciate it. You're coming off that new record. You guys just released Hidden Gems, and you did that with Paul Meany, right?
Yep.
Yes.
What was that like working with him?
Awesome.
Because he's done some pretty big names.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? To be honest, we didn't even go after him for who he's produced.
Yep.
He was the front man for a band called Mute Math that Tarek introduced me to, actually, and it's like, that's one of your favorite bands, right?
Yeah,
Mute
for
Math?
sure.
I mean, I've
For
always
sure.
loved Mute Math.
Yeah.
Amazing drummer, Darren King.
I've seen them a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Unbelievable.
why
Yeah.
it's more for
Unbelievable.
Mute Math than it is for his production. But
Yeah, we're both big fans, and like we've been fans since 2008, 2009.
But he's got like, I'm not saying you went after him for the names, but he's got the experience to back him up, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So-
He's been a frontman of Mute Math for 10 years, and then he branched out into doing producer work after Mute Math sort of dissolved, and just been kind of like a personal hero of ours, like for a long time, just because of the music that he made with Mute Math. So just mentioned it on like an offhand comment to our managers, just like, yeah, it would be awesome if Paul was able to produce our album, but we didn't really think that was going to happen. And then our managers stepped back and they're like, you know what, just give us a couple days with this. Like, let's see what we can do. And they went, and next thing you know, like about a week later, Paul emails us and he's like, hey guys, just wanted to say, I really, really like your stuff. Watched all your videos on YouTube, listened to all your music. I'd be really happy to be a part of this project. And we were like, what is going on? It's like, like
insane.
a musical hero of yours. It's like, yeah, now I want to work on your stuff, So it's crazy. I don't think a lot of people get the chance to work with like one of their major influences. And we did. And it was awesome. And then also, he was just a cool dude. It wasn't anything pretentious about him, nothing egotistical about him. We just kind of like, at first we were like, I don't know, what if this guy, I remember driving to his house.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say.
Because like the first writing session that we had was actually at his house.
And we stayed in his house.
In his
we
house.
stayed in his like one of his guest rooms.
Yes. And we're going there and we're like, oh man, this is going to be so great. This is going to be so great. And then like a little bit of a silence, and he's like, what if he's a dick? Like, what if he's a horrible human? And like we have to stay
You're
at this
stuck
house,
there.
and we're stuck.
Yeah.
And thankfully he was not. He's like the opposite of the phrase "don't meet your heroes." Like, he's the coolest dude, very, very down to earth, great coach, always pushing us in the right ways, positive sort of reinforcement. And I mean, I ended up doing an awesome record with him, and would definitely do it again.
Yeah.
So if you guys had the chance, like say for the next one, are you going to work with him again, or are you going to try and explore other people to get a different sound, different vibe?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we haven't really been writing too much for the next one, so it's hard to say. I mean, if I'm being honest, we'll probably run it by him and see, but it's hard until like you get that demo stage, like between just us and we start like working through stuff, that we think about like what sort of production style do we want to go with on this one. And it was cool for this last one because like Black Holes, we went more like Ian Blurton produced that one. He's like an underground legend from Toronto. He's like a big stoner rock guy, and we wanted that like crunch and the deep like analog like fuzz guitar, that sort of production that we knew he could lend.
Right.
And then for this one, we wanted more of like the polished and produced like a higher production level without losing who we were. And so Paul was really good for that. So I don't know. It depends on kind of what we end up doing with the demos.
Yeah, I agree.
So are you guys writing now? I'm
Bits
sure
and
you're
pieces.
always writing, right?
Yeah, it's always in a limbo,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It always starts with Tarek, but
It's bits and pieces right now, and I think it's because, over the course of the pandemic, everything died down for a long time, and then you write a little bit, and then things ramp up to release your album. So, we kind of focused on that for a little while, and then also I was writing with some other artists, just like on their projects too, so kind of just taking a step away from our music. But now, Hidden Gems is out, and I'm already ready to just get going on the next one.
That's awesome.
It's
I don't know. Okay, so everyone's going to say Shaking Off the Rust, right? But for me, Careless.
okay,
That's
sweet.
so
Has
surprising.
anybody said that to you yet?
Yeah.
I've had a few people.
Yeah.
Fuck all them. I'm the first one.
Shaking Off the Rust.
That's
is
my
great,
favorite
but,
one.
Black Holes, I think.
No, I'm saying off the new record.
Off the new record,
I
okay.
like it.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
by far my favorite. Cool.
It's definitely a unique one for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the drummer thing in me. Like I like the rhythm. Like I'm a big rhythm guy. Right.
Right.
I'm sure you listen to the same. You listen to music. You hear rhythms. And,
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yep.
That one for me, I don't know. Does it?
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we've asked a lot of people like what their favorite songs were. I was just curious because I don't know, between us, we felt like there's a lot of good candidates here that could be put forth as a single. Everyone that we like showed early songs to and was kind of contributing into the album was like, Shaking Off the Rust is the no-brainer to start with.
How do you
So we're
choose that?
okay.
Like, does the producer choose that, or you guys? Or?
Paul, that was the first song we worked on.
Yeah.
Paul was like, we should develop this one first for sure and like go down that path and try and get this to where it needs to be as a single. And then like there's people at our label that weigh in on that, like what did they want to push, which ultimately it kind of is like their decision. And it's always funny. I remember...
Wait, it's the label's decision, not yours?
No, 100%. And it was funny because I was watching an interview with Kings of Leon, and this was for Mechanical Bull was the album, and they were asking the band about, the lead single and like, what, like, why did you guys go with this one? And Caleb was like, this was actually the first time that the song that we picked as the first single was the same song the label wanted. And the interviewer was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh yeah, well the label always chooses."
See, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Did you know that?
I had no idea. No.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you have no input. Like, can you say we strongly want?
Yes.
Like, if you guys and Paul said we want this song as a single, can the label be like, you know what? Okay, fine.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
would
okay.
consider it. For
Yeah.
sure. And honestly, our label's pretty good about being like, yeah, that's what we'll do.
Okay.
But yeah, at the end of the day, it's their decision to see because they're gonna put the money behind it.
Well, of course. Yeah.
So they get to choose which one it is.
Yeah. So it's always them, but
It's a committee, but yeah.
but like Careless, that was us going to them and being like, because when the pandemic hit, we were like, okay, we don't want to delay the record, and they were kind of like, we think it's a good move if we just hold off, because we were thinking like summer 2020, and they were like, we don't know what the environment's going to be like. It's always better if you tour behind a record. Let's wait a little bit. And we were like, okay, fine. I kind of see that, but like we still want to. Like, we want to put it out well before we're going on the road, so like people can digest it. They were like, well, what are we going to do in the meantime? Like, we just put out Shaking Off the Rust in August of 2019. We're going to wait until 2021 to do anything else on the same record? And so we were like, well, why don't we just like drip release a few singles? And they were like, okay, what do you want to go with next? Because we already did Grim in December, and we're like, let's do Careless.
Yeah.
Let's throw that out there and see what the response is like. And they went for it, and it was definitely a gamble for them because it's like you guys are saying, it's not
a mainstream type of.
for our band.
Yeah.
You wouldn't expect
absolutely
that.
not.
But
so
that's,
that was
I think
risky
that's what
though.
I like about it, though.
Yeah. Man, the YouTube comments are rich for that one too.
Are they?
Yeah.
Because it's
This
like,
guy told me never read the comments, so I've stopped reading. Unless it's on our socials, I don't read any of the
it's
comments.
a slippery slope,
Yeah.
but they're interesting because it's like you get two different sides of everything, you know, like thankfully our fans aren't really that harsh, but you definitely have people who are like, oh, this is a cool new direction, this is really, really cool, and then you have also people like, where's the rock, you know? It's like you're always going to get that, but we didn't really care, we just wanted to put that song out.
Well, you can't
know?
do every song the same. Like,
No.
they
Well,
can't
that's the
all be
thing,
rock
yeah.
songs.
Yeah, and like the whole thing for us, again, going back to the YouTube comments, there's a lot of like, oh, what the hell are these guys selling out? And this is like, now looking back, I'm like, yeah, outside of the context of the record, it maybe seemed like this is like new direction.
Yeah.
Here we go. It's like, it's not though. It's an
Yeah.
outlier that we decided to put out. And so a lot of these guys are like, oh, that's it. These guys sold out, and they're trying to like do whatever's good
Sold
for
out.
top 40. And
Sold out.
I'm like, no, man, you don't get it. It would actually be selling out if we didn't, because this is actually just a song that we like.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is in the vein of a kind of music that we both
Yeah.
enjoy and listen to. And we wrote that song, and Paul was like, I'm a strong believer. It was originally only an interlude.
Yeah.
Like a minute long,
Really?
no vocals as an interlude. And Paul was like, let's try and make this a song. And we ended up being like, this is sick.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
really like this. And I think I would be doing a disservice. It would be selling out if I didn't release it.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's me thinking, here's a song that I think is great, that I think a lot of other people will enjoy, but I'm not going to put it out because it's going to ruin my image. That's selling out.
Yeah.
And we
Exactly,
were like,
yeah.
fuck that, man.
Right.
Let's do it and see
That's
what happens.
awesome.
So, yeah,
And
happy we did it.
as a fan, like they like your band because they identify with your style, with your
Right.
musical like talent, your style, right? So, I don't know. I mean, any band that I've ever really liked and really followed, I've never hated any of their songs. I had ones that were like more favorites than others, but I liked them
Yeah.
all.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It took me a little bit of time to deal with Saint Anger for Metallica, though.
See, I haven't been a Metallica fan, which is bad. I know you guys are going
No,
October. Just
Yeah.
don't tell them that we said that. Because we're getting them on the
Because
show.
you're going to book them.
Yeah, we're going to book
exactly.
them and Rogan, right? So,
The Rogan. I like the
show.
Rogan plan.
yeah, I don't know. I've never really listened to... I mean, I listened to the Black Album because, like, fuck, who hasn't, right?
Yeah.
But I never really paid attention to Metallica after that, really. No. All right, so guys, something we started in season 2 is we have the viewers sending in some questions. So we got some lined up. If you guys want to take a shot at these, take a stab.
Of course.
Good?
Yeah.
Let's do
All right,
it.
here we go.
Hey, it's Haley from the Loose Goose, and I have a question for the Bluestones. When Tarek took his time off and went to school in England, did either of you have a moment where you said, this is what we want to do, we want to make music? Or was there a time where you said you didn't want to come back to it?
I don't think there was like a actual conversation. Like, well, it wasn't like, okay, and this is when we are going to stop. You know?
No.
It just was kind of like, hey, I'm going to be doing this now, and you're going to be doing that.
Yeah.
And
But
the
that
next-
doesn't mean we won't stop making... Like, we'll still always make music.
Yes.
I don't think that ever went away. Like, there was no... The way that we've always seen it is, like, it's been easy enough for us during the busiest times of our lives to, like, at least find some time to write and release music.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really mean... I think we arrived at the point where we were like, yeah, we're probably done, touring and, like, playing outside of Ontario. But there was never a moment there where it was like, yeah, pack it up and never do this again and never play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we always kind of had it in mind that we would play somehow, some way,
Yeah.
whether it's big, on big stages or small stages. It was just going to happen.
It's good because that's a future question. And I got to show you guys this too. So she says, this is Haley. She says she has the first Bluestones tattoo.
Yeah, she
Yeah,
does.
correct.
She does.
Yep.
Wow.
She's
a
a serious
massive
fan.
fan?
Yeah,
Yeah.
serious fan.
I think we said that back then. We were like, yeah, you get free shows now. That's it. You have
Is
the
that her?
first
That's her
tattoo.
entry.
That's it.
Just
Yeah.
show that
Entry.
to the.
But then we had to take that back. I guess there was a band that already did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was like an old I think they were kind of like an older punk band, and I forget what they were called, but their logo was like a little rocket ship. And they said like way back, if you get a free tattoo, that's it, and we're like gonna honor this for life.
On.
And then they like kind of got big, and like in punk, like a lot of tattoos are nothing to a lot of those people. They're like, fuck it, whatever, I'll put it on my ankle. And
That's
then
hilarious.
they were like getting to the point where they're like, we have to limit this now because like we're not making any money on shows. Like people are just showing up with a tattoo. You know what I mean? It's like you play a show and 500 people have a tattoo.
That's awesome.
So,
all right, you want to go to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, question 2.
Okay.
Hi guys, my name's Cheryl. I live in Dubai, and my question is, when did you first start playing your instruments?
Wow, Dubai.
yeah, where did you pull these people from?
What?
My word.
Are you on a yacht? I think I was 12 years old. Well, I mean, I started playing piano when I was younger because my mom was a piano teacher. So I started playing an instrument when I was 7 or 8, but then switched over to the guitar when I was 12.
Did she teach you piano?
She did, yeah. So she would teach students, and then kind of in the middle, in between students, she would teach me, or like when her students were done for the day, she would teach me. And then she was like, I can't keep doing it this way. I actually want to enroll you in piano lessons. So I took it between the ages of, let's say, 7 until 12, so 5 years. And then I just didn't, you're almost a teenager, you want to do something cool. So I remember playing electric guitar, and then that was it. Yeah, I kind of kept up with piano just casually, but switched over to the guitar. So I'd say 12.
Wow. Jeez.
Yeah.
And you?
Yeah, I was 12 as
Really?
well. Yeah. We had a really good music program at the grade school that I went to, A.V. Graham in Tecumseh. Everyone had to play an instrument, and this was like in grade 7 and grade 8. Everyone had to play an instrument, like I think at least once or twice a week for at least an hour. And so there was a drum set, but it was very competitive, and there was always more people who wanted to play drums than there were slots available, because there was like a drum set, and then there's also just like little snare drums, and it was like in the hour every drummer got like 10 or 12 minutes on the kit, and that was like the highlight
same
of the
with
week.
ours.
It's basically
I went to Prince Andrew, and I was the same, grade 6.
Okay.
There was one drum set in the music room, and everybody wanted to be the drummer.
Yeah.
And I don't even know how I ended up as the drummer, and then that's just kind of when I started.
Yeah, and so that was the same deal for me.
Yeah.
I happened to get it, and then happened to kind of take lessons. My neighbor owns Riverside, or like neighbor from my parents' house owns Riverside Music Shop.
Oh, wow.
And so he was like, yeah, if you like playing drums in class and you want to start taking lessons, and it just kind of snowballed from there. And drummers, as you probably know, when you're younger, are like a goalie in hockey. Like everyone needs you.
Yeah.
And so I was just in like a million bands of every kind of genre. I didn't even like a lot of the music I played, but it was
Same with him.
fun to
He's
do.
a bassist. So
yeah.
hard to
Same
find,
deal.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Everyone's got a guitar.
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
that's the reason I started playing.
Yeah.
It's the only way to get into a band when I was
get
in high school.
involved.
Yeah.
What brand of drums do you like?
I use YC drums, so it's like a custom shop based out of Kitchener-Waterloo. The guy's name is Jordan Gauthier. He's pretty young. He started when he was really young, probably like 19 or 20. But how he started was he was getting interested in drums. He's always been like a drum tech, kind of like that sort of like drum tech mind, always getting into like the science of making drums sound good.
Right.
And he just like cold approached Arkell's, what's his name? Tim Oxford.
Yeah.
And was like, can I make you a drum set? Like if I made you a drum set, would you play it in your basement? He was like, yeah, sure. And delivered it to him, and Tim was like, this is one of the nicest drum kits I've ever played in my life. And he was like 19 or 20 at the time, just a kid from Ottawa.
Holy shit.
So he came down, and now he like makes drums for everybody in Canada.
Yeah.
Like every kind of band in Canada that's doing something, he makes drums for them. And then like he's the drum tech for Arkell's and for July Talk, and like he's the stage tech for Dirty
Holy
Mill.
cow.
Builds all the drums for Glorious Sons, and it's just kind of like established this thing.
Wow.
And so
It's like
I
the
was
musical
yeah.
lottery.
Yeah.
Like literally.
Yeah,
Just
just
'cause
get
you
into
reached out.
the right person at the right time, and but I mean, you got to be good. Like, so
We should just call Joe Rogan one day. Just be like, hey, you need us.
Hey, we do a podcast.
If we made an
never gets
episode
emails
for
like
you,
Yeah.
If we made an appearance at your house, would you put us on your show?
and you like Gibson, right?
Yeah, I
Guitars?
played Gibson for a very, very long time. Starting to branch out a little bit, though, now. Really cool company out of Toledo, Ohio, called Reverend Guitars. And I've played their Roundhouse, which is very similar to like it's like a Les Paul Telecaster mix. And
Okay.
I really, really like it. It's a really cool guitar. It looks really cool. So, yeah, I think I'm going to start to branch out into their stuff a little bit more.
Is it a different tone, like a different sound?
Yeah, it is.
Fits
It's-
more your style.
Well, to be honest, it's a little lighter than
Okay.
what I'm used to. I don't know if it's just necessarily because of it's pandemic, so I'm not able to play it on stage, and actually have it run through my rig in a loud or a large room. So I don't know what it sounds like. But from what I hear in like, this practice room that I have it sounds really, really good, but it does sound a little bit more light, a little bit higher end,
Yeah.
or I guess what's the term, like more treble end to it than a Gibson or like a Les Paul that I normally play.
Ah, sweet. Question 3.
I need to ask a question for the Bluestones. So, Tarek and Justin, I would want to know for real, don't say what I want to hear, how does a small venue compare to the big venues you're playing? Like, I see these pictures that look super high energy, crazy big shows. How do they compare? Do you still like smaller venues, or do you prefer the larger ones because you make more money? Really interested to see how that compares to some Windsor guys, as opposed to someone from, Toronto or something.
Yeah, he recorded that in a tornado.
Clearly.
So, I still like playing smaller rooms. I mean, the only problem I find with smaller rooms is that a lot of them, for the setup that we have, aren't really equipped to give us what we need, I guess, as far as like, stage inputs and speakers or monitors or
Even like a front of house.
even a front of house desk. Yeah,
a lot of times.
But when you have a smaller venue that at least has a thoughtful build for touring musicians and performers, then it's great to play a small room because the energy of that room. I mean, the best thing about playing small rooms by far is just the energy from the crowd.
Yeah.
You're right there. It's very close. It's intimate. You're just absolutely energized. Like, there's a place in London, UK that we played. What was it called?
Seabright Arms.
Seabright Arms. Not a large room.
No.
It was a smaller room, kind of like a basement room, similar to the size of Fog, like generally, maybe a little bit bigger. But it was like one of our favorite shows because it was this small room. Still was very good as far as like gear, and as far as being, I guess, a little bit more deliberate in their build for musicians. And it was awesome because it was just like, you have this unbelievable energy that comes from small rooms like that. So in Tom's case, I mean, like, Fog has been a place that we've always loved to play because he does think about that stuff, and he thinks about what it's like for the actual musician to perform there. And he's always trying to upgrade, or he's trying to, make it easier for a touring artist that is used to playing large stages to transition to a smaller stage.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I don't know. He was asking about like money and stuff. If you were to ask me, like, would I rather do a tour of small venues or a tour of big venues, I'd probably say I want to do a tour of big venues because they're more comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, like, you have everything you need. Usually when you play a big venue, like, you roll in and there's like a gigantic garage door that loads right onto the stage instead of like kind of trying to like angle things through doors and like it's just you open
set of stairs that goes like straight down. Like,
you open your trunk and it's like everything just goes on stage. So I mean, there's that, but like the energy of a small show is hard to beat, man. And we've played a lot of these big stages, and sometimes it's weird when the closest person to you, the first row, is still like 25 feet, 30 feet away.
Yeah.
Yep, exactly.
That's the first person,
right?
Versus like playing at Fog where the furthest person is 25 feet away. Everyone's in between that.
Because that's where they pull all the people out of the crowd. Like if somebody needs medical, that's that route or whatever, right?
Yeah,
Like
and there's just
in
like
front of the stage?
there's the whole
Huge divide,
trench, and then there's like just a bunch of room in front. Like no one plays right up at the actual front of the stage, even. So there's a little space behind that, and the lights are angled. Like,
can you see people like when you're playing a big venue like that? Can you see faces of the fans?
I mean, not
rarely.
not all of them. No,
Yeah.
maybe the first couple rows.
Yeah.
But yeah, depending on the venue, like if it's a large venue or like an amphitheater, you're not going to see everybody.
Yeah, and like when
'Cause
the
it's
lights
too
are like
dark.
it's all dark there, and all the lights are in front of you. So
Or the barge that we played
oh
on
my
that one
god,
time.
that,
played on a barge?
We played on a
It was
barge, man.
like what a weird and
So
wacky show
stupid.
that was. Yeah, it was in. I can't remember the name of the town. Do you remember the name?
Well, it would be in the water.
It was in Ohio, like some random.
It was on
town.
in southern Ohio, on the border of Ohio and Kentucky, in a completely random town.
Yeah.
And they had this festival every year where, so imagine something kind of like, I guess you could do it in the Detroit River. You never should. But it would be like everyone is lined up at the like waterfront park, and then the band is like literally 75 to 100 feet away on a boat playing, and like you can't hear or see any. There's no like screens.
Yeah.
And so like it was the dumbest thing.
Yeah, it
in
was
the world.
so weird.
Yeah.
So
Did
was
it,
the sound okay?
No.
No shit.
I mean, for us
No.
on stage, maybe like I
Yeah.
I could hear. Well, I guess we had in-ears,
We
so
had
it doesn't.
monitors, yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think it was
crazy.
because it was a giant like there was a big like like concrete slope that went up to like the road where people were sitting. So it's actually even worse than
'Cause then
than
it
the
echoes
Detroit
and
River.
bounces
Yeah.
off
So it was just like boom. There was so much slapback. Like I remember like hitting my snare and it was just like pop, pop, pop. It was like the dumbest man. It was so stupid.
that's true.
And then people were like messaging us after like, oh, like I'm sorry this is where I had to see you the first time. But
Never a great thing to hear. Sorry you were put through that, but
yeah.
All right, last one.
Yeah, one more question.
all right.
Yeah.
Hey guys, it's Danielle. I just wanted to know if the Bluestones are your first band or have you been in any others?
It's a good question, actually.
It is a
A
good
lot
question.
of these, I just want to shout out the listener questions. Those were incredibly original. Like, those were all firsts.
Yep.
So the question was, have you been in any other bands? I wouldn't really say I have. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
I
I
played
guess if you
around with
count-
people in high school, but like we never played any shows. We never like played bars.
yeah, true. It'd be like talent shows and things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So no, this
No,
is
yeah,
this is
absolutely
really
the
kind of
first
it.
one, the first shot,
Yeah.
Wow,
Yep.
that's it. One shot, one take,
one shot.
one opportunity. So-
Spaghetti.
Well, let's give the thanks, to the viewers. That was what do we have? Haley, Cheryl, Tom, and Danielle.
Yeah,
So
thanks.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for sending those in. And if
sure.
people want to keep sending them in, we're gonna put up the guest list eventually. And I don't know, we're lazy, but we will eventually do it. And you can send in more video questions for future guests. All right, guys, here we go. Mid-show shots. So we're gonna raise these up. We're doing grapefruit vodka again. We'll just do grapefruit vodka for the whole show.
We
Just
will,
fuck
yeah.
it. We'll end. We start, middle, end. All
Perfect.
grapefruit vodka.
We can get those shot suggestions in, and we'll change it up for
He's already-
shot
suggestion.
It's all
It
downhill.
happens every show.
It's all downhill for you. All right, so everybody listen. Here we go. Guys, girls, all the dudes. Cheers.
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 And then, to do another beer crack. Do you guys want more beers or anything?
I'm good, man. I mean, I
I
just
shouldn't.
Do you get your PBR? Is that what you always drink,
shoot
PBR?
shot. Yeah. I mean, this is my cheap beer.
Yeah, but you
know
didn't
what I mean?
pay for it.
That's the funny thing.
It's so true.
You could have asked for anything.
I know. And I've had this
just
before.
admit that you like it. It's fine
Yeah,
that you
of course,
like
man,
it.
I do. Of course I do. Of course I
Admit
do.
you like it.
I have been at like open bar like work parties and whatnot, and like went to the bar and the guy's like, what do you want to drink? I'm like, oh, PBR. He's like, oh man, your work's picking up the tab. Don't worry about it.
You're
And I'm
good,
like,
man. You can
I
get
know.
whatever you want.
I know. I want PBR.
You're like that Super Troopers guy. Just schlitzes whatever's cheap
Yeah.
or whatever's free. So that's your go-to. Like if
Yeah,
you go
it
on
truly is.
vacation, you're sitting on a beach in
No,
Cuba.
I mean maybe. Yeah, I don't
Give
know.
me a PBR.
I think there's a time and a place. Like this is like Windsor beer and a PBR, man. Holy shit. Like that is.
I thought OV was
where it's
the-
at. OV is great.
OV,
OV
yeah,
is great.
it is a
I
legit
love
thing.
OV too. I don't know. This is just my kind of go-to.
It's like OV, PBR, and Laker.
I also like it because whenever, like, I've kind of made it a meme for myself.
Yeah.
And so whenever I go somewhere, they have it.
Yeah,
And it's
Pabst.
just an easy, like, we know you'll like this. And I'm like, you're
Yeah.
right.
That's the thing about Pabst. There's nothing wrong with it. You know?
No, and originally the reason they call
be
it
their
Blue Ribbon
motto.
is because they won a Blue Ribbon at like the World's Fair in 19 something.
I bring it up all the time.
Yeah,
I say, people ask me, like, why do you like Pabst Blue Ribbon? I'm like, it won
It's a
the
champion
Blue
beer,
Ribbon.
yeah.
I
It's a
don't know
champion
if you
beer.
knew that.
yeah. Before that, it was just Pabst.
Clearly, you
This
don't know
is
your
the Blue Ribbon.
1918 history.
Yeah.
And you stick to the bourbon there? Like that's where
Yeah,
you're...
Woodford is the spot. I mean, that's both of us.
Yeah.
We any rider that we've ever been asked to fill out, Woodford has been on it.
When I asked for your rider, you're like wood-fired bourbon or something. I think it auto-corrected, and I was like, oh yeah. I'm like,
yeah.
So I sent you a text back. I'm like, yeah, we'll get wood-fired bourbon. You're like, actually, sorry, that should say Woodford. I was like,
I bet you're like, shit,
Cool.
how are we going to do this?
honestly, I didn't
yeah,
hear of
come up
either
with
of them.
Yeah,
so I was
Woodford,
like,
Woodford is...
we're going
This
on
is
an
great,
adventure.
man. It's like it's not like the cheapest whiskey, but like it's good
It's
for
strong.
what you get, man.
It
Oh
is
yeah,
good.
yeah,
45.2%.
yeah. But like the value, man, it's really good.
such a good...
It's
Yeah.
really
a
good.
great
Like this
bourbon.
is kind of just as good as like, like I think for a 26er it's like $50. Just as good as a lot of like $75, $80, $90 bottles that we've kind of come across.
And that's whiskey, right?
Bourbon. Yeah,
Bourbon.
bourbon whiskey. Yeah.
Because you do a lot of Scotch.
Scotch,
You're
yeah.
a massive Scotch guy.
Yeah.
I prefer
He's got a
Scotch, yeah.
shit ton up there.
Scotch is great. Time and place, I don't know. I kind of go. It's bourbon sweeter.
It is like there's a few that I like, but generally I like the more butterscotch flavor of Scotch.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I like
There's
buttery.
no such thing.
Versus
It is, it's
versus
very-
the peaty stuff?
Yeah, like I'm not really. I'm more of like a Speyside Highland. Like I like a little bit of peat, but I like the sweeter side, like the more caramely.
Right.
I can't do... Yeah, the peaty scotches. Oof.
Yeah, any of
I mean,
the,
it's not there yet, I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the Isla Scotches are just way too smoky.
Is that the
those are
fire,
nuts.
the campfire one? Is
Yeah,
that what
that's
peaty
a-
is? The
that's
peat?
yeah, that's an Isla Scotch.
Crazy smoke.
It tastes
Yeah,
like I'm
peat is
eating
that.
coals.
Yeah.
Exactly. It yeah. It
They're
tastes like a
smoky.
fireplace.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can tell about Scotch was that one. That one tastes like I'm like a liquid campfire, but all the other ones, they all taste the same to me, and they all taste horrible.
Yeah, I mean, it's how I kind of started getting into it more was like drinking it more with like either soda or like even ginger ale when I was like younger, and then just decreasing that amount every time until I like started to be like, okay, now I know the difference between Crown Royal and CC or something. And like those are like
So same with coffee. Everyone starts drinking coffee, and it's
Yeah.
like triples, right?
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
like 9 sugars, 4 creams, and then eventually it's just black.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
where I'm at now
Yeah.
is black.
And that was for me. Like I used to drink triples or whatever, and then I would like have to shit my pants 45 minutes later.
Well,
And
there's
so-
like your taste buds change over time for sure, but I think like versus shooting it to like sipping on it, there's a big difference. When you shoot
True.
alcohol, when you shoot whiskey, you get like all of it all at the same time, and you can't taste it, and it's just this mess in your mouth. But when you like take like little sips, you can actually taste the flavor of it.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to let it roll over your tongue.
Yeah,
and
like,
like
you gotta-
aren't you supposed to breathe air in through it too?
Right, I mean, you're supposed to smell it, and then you're supposed to taste it, and that makes a huge.
And the
difference.
glass makes a difference too, right? That's
It
why you
does,
gave them
yeah.
those glasses.
Yeah, it concentrates the
What are they
the
called?
nose.
the
Flouts.
Glencairn.
Floats.
They're called flouts.
Scottish Highland flout.
Howden flout.
That's all it is. All right. If you guys need more beer too, by the way.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it's
might
already
crack one
paid
in a
for.
bit.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, lovely. Great.
Yeah.
Good to know.
And there's other
Well, then
beers. It's not just
definitely.
yeah.
You can get anything you want, you know.
I know, because I said it to Gus. I'm like, yeah, he wants PBR, and Gus is like, oh, he goes, alrighty then.
Okay, I think I have some pocket change lying around.
Oh my god.
Can we get it in a brown bag, please, too? Yeah.
Yeah.
Next time, like, just up it. Just
I can't.
No,
this
he
is my
can't.
go-to.
That's, and I will make sure you stick to it.
100%.
the-
man.
get those
my
big. You
life.
got to get the big 40-ounce versions of it.
That's true.
And bring that
Yeah.
on stage with
the
it.
like 100 case thing.
Yeah. Eventually it'll be a thing where it's like, oh, there's this PBR.
We should try and get. Did you guys see those like 99 or 100 beer things? It was like a stupid meme thing. It's like a case of 100 Pabst, but they did it in like one row. So it's like this
It's
so
like 12
wide.
feet long.
Yeah, it's like this. You know
You
what I
need
mean?
like 3 guys to carry it. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And there's a couple fun things for this. I love Pabst so much. When they released that, they did an Instagram story for like, here's what's in every case, and it was like can 1, can 2. I watched them all.
Come on.
At like can 86, it was like swipe up for a free thing because you see this.
Yeah, because nobody's
cool.
watching.
You know what I mean?
That's cool.
I never got my thing though.
That's genius marketing.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, we
amazing.
should do a thing where we buy that and then bring it on tour, and it's like a journey of like finishing the case.
The case of 100.
It's like we're at show whatever, and like I guess it wouldn't last that long.
No.
that would go within the first 25 days.
Yeah, well, easily.
Do you guys drink like during the show or just after?
I usually have a few before, and then I'll have like one during.
Just kind of loosen up a bit.
Yeah. I like to get up there with like a little bit of loosey-goosey and then have kind of one to keep it going throughout the show. But like I'll probably have like 3 drinks before we, maybe a little bit of bourbon and then like a beer or 2.
I can't.
No?
I'll mess up too much.
It's also hard.
Do you find
on
it changes
throat.
your voice? Yeah, I was gonna say, does it change your voices?
Yeah, it does, and it's rough. Like you have to really be careful when you're touring. You really have to treat your body right, because especially when you're playing like 5 shows in a row, night after night, you can't just be drinking every night, and going to sleep at 3, waking up at like 8 to like get
Eating
to the next
shit.
place, eating like shit.
Yeah.
Exactly. You really have to take care of yourself because it's performance, it's physical,
Oh,
Yeah.
huge.
and it's mental. So yeah, we more so now, like after being touring musicians for a while, realize how important it is to take care of ourselves on the road.
Yeah, and honestly, man, a big part of that is like I don't want to be like super hungover and get to a show and like someone's been waiting a few months to see that. And I'm just like, I fucking drank too much last night, so like I'm not really gonna go that hard
see,
tonight. Like, hope you guys understand.
Yeah.
It's like someone
That's so
has
true.
fucking, you know what I mean?
They paid money.
They paid
Yeah.
money. They like took
Traveled
their whole
a
night
very long way, let's say,
Exactly.
and you're gonna
Yeah.
go up there and half-ass it. Fuck you.
because you like wanted to party last night. It's like,
Yeah.
dude, come on. Like people.
That's
are,
impressive to say that. Like that's huge because we grew up in like the 90s when the 90s.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of drugs and alcohol with those bands. So I've seen a lot of bands multiple times, and you go and you watch them one night, and they're energetic, and everyone's loving it. And then you see them like 4 or 5 days later, or even maybe at the end of the tour, and they just don't give a shit anymore, and they're just like they're not into it.
It's tough too because like now getting on the road and like doing the whole thing, when a lot of those bands they played a lot, and I could kind of see how you'd be like, fuck this, and like maybe you don't necessarily want to do it, but there's a lot of people who are pressuring you to do that.
Oh, for sure.
Like a lot of people on your label or even like your management. We have very supportive people on that side. But I think it gets to that point where a lot of people are like, I miss my family. I have a weird sleep schedule. I wake up, I don't know where I am. Everything's transient, and I just want to have an anchor for a second. And everyone is saying you can't do that because we rely on you playing shows.
Yeah.
And you know what? Back then there was no Zoom or Teams that
Right.
didn't exist,
Yeah,
right? So
Yeah.
probably made it harder, like
Yeah,
keeping in touch with family. and stuff.
100%. Yeah, you gotta get to like a landline.
Go to the
That's
phone booth.
so crazy. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I could see that, and but that again, that sucks. So like you go to shows and you're like, which Scott Weiland am I getting tonight?
Well, that's
Right.
that's
I
the
mean,
band I
that's-
was talking about.
Okay, so
Yeah.
it's
Oh,
about
really?
violence.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
You see him once, and then you see him again like a month later at a
Yeah.
different like outdoor fest, and he's sitting on the edge of the stage,
Right.
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
like he just doesn't give a fuck.
Was
Yeah.
he the one that did the Christmas?
Yes. Oh man.
Was he? Oh,
Yeah.
Have you watched that before?
yeah. Okay,
Him,
yeah.
Like
Wow.
kind of scat through Christmas songs.
I mean, like, yeah, R.I.P. But
You know what?
you
I was
know,
just gonna say, I'm also pretty sure he's not alive
No,
anymore.
he's not. He's
but
not. But
that was not his best moment.
But
No,
that dude
no.
can sing anything. Like he was. I mean, okay,
Oh,
maybe
he-
not the
yeah.
Christmas, but
When
the
he
Christmas stuff,
sang,
everything else.
he was a phenomenal singer.
yes,
yeah.
There's,
Yes.
I mean, I've listened to tape of him where it's just him. There's nothing else. It's just him singing.
Yeah.
And he like his range was just incredible.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I missed out on that. I don't really know like his material. Like I should know
Yeah,
it.
you
I
were
should-
like
I
you're
would-
right at the end.
Right
of,
at the-
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
right,
that's like '90s alternative,
Yeah.
right?
Right when
Yes.
he's falling apart. basically.
Yeah. So I guess I don't really know.
Like what would you say? Like 95, 96? They kind of
they
started taking a turn.
I feel like it was 96 that they kind of.
I would say, like 95 was like the peak.
Because they had like Purple came out, and then
that
Tiny Music.
Yeah.
And then it kind of went.
After
that, yeah.
Hey, you guys said you were going to play a song for us live here. So why don't we take a break here and get that set up? What do you think?
Hell yeah. While we get the audio set up, why don't you tell us what we're going to hear?
Hey, this is Tarek from the Bluestones, and this is Let It Ride from our new album, Hidden Gems. 1, 2, 3. Took a minute to roam, golden towers in view. No, I don't feel at home, this is something new. I think I'll stay for a while, don't need me back so soon. 'Cause I know you're holding it down, I've always counted on you. I don't care about the money, I know who I am. All my pockets are sunny, my foes are my friends. Oh, let it ride till the morning comes. Oh, let it ride till the morning, ride till that morning comes. I think I lose track of time when I post up at the bar. But you don't need to remind me who my vices are. I know it gets a little thick when I hop on the phone, and I can always hear that timber saying come back home. But if you love me like you say, you gotta let me roam till I'm ready, till I'm ready. 'Cause I don't care about the money, I know who I am. All my pockets are sunny, my foes are my friends. Oh, let it ride till the morning comes. Oh, let it ride till the morning comes. I let it ride. I let it ride. Oh, let it ride till the morning comes. Oh, let it ride till the morning, ride till that morning comes.
So you guys are going on tour though, and you're touring with, like, I've got the list here of names. It is some pretty big fucking names.
Yeah, man.
So we've got Metallica, Limp Bizkit, Live, Yellow Wolf, My Chemical Romance, The Pretty Reckless, Offspring, Seether, Asking Alexandria, Rancid, like Steel Panther. Come on.
This is the Aftershock.
Yeah, this is Aftershock.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, the festival stuff is like, those are cool. But like, I remember like we did Bonnaroo one year, and that was like, you know, the biggest. That's like one of the top 3 biggest festivals in the U.S. And we were like, holy shit, this is gonna be crazy and life changing. And it was like, it was cool to play. And don't get me wrong, totally loved it. Would do it again. Yeah. But it was not like.
It's not like a life-changing show.
No.
Like, you just go and you play, and you're going to gain some fans. You're going to have a great weekend. But, you know, you're not going to go from, like, 0 to hero in a
But you don't find it more, like, engaging and the people are just going nuts?
Well, the people did really enjoy the music. That and Carolina Rebellion. Carolina Rebellion was... Do you remember that year we played Carolina Rebellion?
That was one of our... That was one of the best festival experiences we ever had.
Greta Van Fleet played. They were
Queens
playing of the Stone Age, Incubus.
Yeah.
Like, it was unbelievable.
That's a solid lineup.
Yeah.
Incubus is solid live. Yeah, they're really good.
So, man, and that was all the same day.
Yep.
Like, that
Holy
was...
shit.
That was all, like, it was...
That was our day.
We were playing at the same time as Greta.
Yep.
And then... later on, like that, this was kind of before they were blowing up. They were playing like I guess it was the A stage, but it was like early, and then Queens of the Stone Age, we got to watch the whole show side stage, and that was unreal.
Yep.
But like, so for this one and like Aftershock, we probably won't get access to like go side stage or like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so for Bonnaroo, like we didn't get to like, it was the Killers one night and Eminem another night, and it like we didn't get to get anywhere close to backstage for those.
Yeah.
You know, so you're just still like in the crowd, which is I don't want to complain about this because we got to like see all that for free, which was super sweet.
Right.
But yeah, it's a lot of these times like the festival stuff, you're like kind of like tucked into a corner, and you're like, here's a band that you might want to go see, but like most people are gonna go watch the A stage, the B stage. So super cool, but it's for us it's cooler when we like are doing a one-off show with a huge band, and that's like we're playing right before like Foals.
Yeah, that was awesome.
And you know what I mean? And like you do like those sorts of shows at like a radio festival, or not a festival, but like a radio night where they have like 5 bands on one stage.
Right.
Those are way better for us.
So traditional concerts.
Yes.
Because there's usually like a headliner or 2 headliners or whatever, and then like 2 or 3 bands before.
Yep.
Yeah.
Those for us, I feel way more honored, I guess, to do like those than I do for festivals.
You get to meet those guys and
Yeah.
whoever,
So you won't be on the same stage as
crazy
Limp
enough.
Bizkit or something.
For this one, it's super wild. We're on the same stage as Metallica, which is wild.
Yeah.
I kind of can't believe that.
So
So
don't-
like that
That's
one's
amazing.
really cool.
Don't tell them that Saint Anger sucked. Tell them to come on our show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It didn't suck. It took some time to grow.
It was different.
It's
Innovative.
That's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say,
Innovative.
hey guys, St. Anger didn't suck. It just took a little bit of time. Anyway, great to
love
meet
it.
you.
Anyway,
I feel like
Tarek from the Bluestones.
Tarek from Bluestones.
You could tell.
I know I don't have to introduce myself, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I'm sure you could tell Lars anything, and it won't matter because he doesn't play any of it anyway.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'll tell the guy who
Yeah.
wrote all that. No problem.
I'll tell the studio drummer. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, so a festival not as cool as traditional concert setup,
Yeah, like when
As far
everyone's
as
like,
meeting the bands and that.
and
Yeah.
like energy level in the room, like or in the stadium. Or
it
whatever.
depends. I guess it depends on what time you play at the festival.
True.
But yeah, like I don't know. I think the picture that people get in their mind is like, oh yeah, man, you guys are gonna be like all like you're playing with Metallica, or it's like when we did Bonnaroo, it was like you're playing with the Killers. It's like we're not. We're never going to see them. We're never going to like interact. They're playing on a different stage. We're like hours after us.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
we I think our night was actually Muse was the same night. They literally flew in to the town in Tennessee. It's like a small, like the population of this town is very small, like 100,000 people. And then they got police escorted to the stage in 3 SUVs. There's only 3 guys in the band. Three Escalades with police escorts from the airport to the stage. They played their show and then went back to the
Come
airport. It's
on.
like,
Yeah.
did we play with Muse? I
Yeah.
can't really say I did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
That's true.
Yeah, that's why I
Very
like
true.
the one-off shows for that sort of stuff. But it's definitely cool to go to these festivals and be able to see all those bands for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was one
Well,
thing,
me
actually.
too.
One of those radio festivals, we met Tom Morello.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Did we?
Yep.
Well, he
He was
did
eating
we-
it. Yeah, we said hi.
Did I don't remember. I don't think I did.
I definitely did.
Yeah, no, you probably did.
I for
I
sure,
didn't. I
because he was
didn't.
sitting, because there's always like a cafeteria at these festivals where like they have catering, right? It's the catering room. And usually food is unbelievable. By the way, little insider secret, like festival catering
Always.
is unreal.
You need a good healthy meal. Like just wait until you hit a festival. It's
Oh
like,
my God.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
The
Homemade.
spread.
Everything.
Only for the
Juicers.
artists, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Not for
yeah.
us. For us, it's like
like shitting
corn
hot
dogs with onions. Yeah.
So it's crazy because we sat down and we're eating, and I remember just kind of looking up at like this table that was way down there. And I was like, "Holy fuck! Like that's Tom Morello,
Yeah.
just sitting there."
I remember you were like, I was saying something. I was on some kind of rant as per usual, and Tarek was like, "That's him." And I was like, in the middle of my rant, and I was like, "What?" And he's like, "That's him. Turn around." And I was like,
That's him.
Yeah.
like it's funny. I don't know. I don't get starstruck very often, but that one was like,
Yeah, that's a big
whoa,
one. That's a big
whoa.
one. Yeah, that's a big one.
Yeah.
He was
Especially if you
That's-
grew up with those guys.
Yeah.
Like your age. Like, come on.
Yeah.
And it's there's like I think a craft to like not fanboying, but also you're not gonna like not say hi. You know, it's like this little thing where it's like you acknowledge them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Exactly.
and I feel like we've both done it for different artists just to say like, hey, what's up? And for the most part, they're pretty receptive to it.
Yeah.
You know, we haven't really come across any like divas
No.
or assholes. Like Tom DeLonge was pretty cool too.
Yeah, he was
You know?
man, he's exactly what you think he is.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yeah.
he's just a child, man.
He seems like that.
He was like
can't
we were
remember
it was again just a random radio show. It was us, Angels and Airwaves, and then like a local band
Yep.
from Louisville, Kentucky was
Yep.
where we were playing. And we ran into him downstairs as we were like all loading out or whatever, and we're like, hey man, just wanted to say like it was cool to do a show with you guys. And he was like, holy shit, have you guys been like having sex the entire time with girls? We're like, what? He's like, you guys are like insanely good looking. We're like, great, man, thanks, it was nice to meet you.
We'll see you later, I guess.
It was so weird, but he
Yeah,
was
he's
like
a weirdo,
immediately
man.
just like
Weirdo.
went straight to sex, and we were like, okay, it's actually kind of nice to know that that is who you are.
Yeah.
Cameras are off.
It's not a show.
You're not acting.
Yeah.
Not a show.
Speaking of shows, so we had a question because actually I think you told me to write this one down, but your video for Shaking Off the Rust, it was kind of because you filmed that in 2019, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So you kind of predicted the future of live shows
Yeah.
by doing a virtual. So if you haven't seen the video, first of all, it's an amazing video, but it's all done virtual reality. So you guys are like, you're sitting in your underwear playing drums on a couch,
Yep.
but in this VR world, you're on stage and you've got an audience, a VR audience. Like, it's pretty cool. So who came up with the concept for that? And did you ever think that would almost, that's kind of where we're at?
We never thought that this is, it was going to accelerate to that so soon. But that was the director of the video came up with
the
that
director.
one. Yeah.
Usually they send in like treatments, which is basically like a video idea, and you can say, oh, I like this one, I don't like this one. Sometimes we come up with the ideas on our own, but yeah, that was one of the cases where the director came up with this idea of having us perform a virtual concert. And we thought it was cool. It was like
It's a great
novel
idea.
So it's funny how applicable it is now, though. Hey?
Yeah. And then everyone switches their costume and you have skier.
Yeah, you
and
can
all
change
that
your
stuff.
avatar.
That
and
was pretty
stuff. Yeah,
cool.
that's fine. And the nice thing about that video was like the extras were actually our fans. So like we put out a post saying, hey, like if you want to be in one of our music videos, like to our fan base, then DM us and we'll get you set up in the music video. So
Really?
it's nice to
was
like
cool.
not play to just
That's
a batch
awesome.
of random people. Like these are people who
Yeah.
actually enjoy our music, and we got to chat with them and stuff. And that was pretty cool.
And that was James Villeneuve that did your video.
Yes.
for
Yep,
that, yeah?
yep, that's
yeah,
him.
That's solid.
Yep.
So shout out to him because that was a genius idea. Like when we saw this, he's like, you got to ask them if they ever thought it would be reality.
Man,
No,
and that's where we're
not a
at.
million
And it was
years
so
to
weird,
guess that.
less than a year later, like
Yeah.
it ended up coming out and people were like, holy shit, like the Bluestones predicted. And we were like, no, but
You're like 1984
Yes, we did.
pioneers. All right, Tarek, Justin, thank you guys for coming in. This was a super fun night. This is the best way we could have, possibly kicked off season 2. So thank you guys for coming in.
thank you.
Thanks for having
us.
Before we take off, before we end the show, if people want to get a hold of you guys on socials, how do they do that?
Instagram at the Bluestones, YouTube, the Bluestones,
Yep.
Facebook, the Bluestones.
Everything's the Bluestones.
Website
I mean,
is
it's
thebluestonesmusic.com.
music.com. Yeah, so hit that up.
Yeah. Patreon,
Patreon.
The Bluestones.
.com/thebluestones.
Yep.
Nice.
Streamlined.
And tour coming up. You guys have at least 2 dates, October.
Yes, so far. I mean,
Sacramento, is
yeah,
it?
Sacramento for Aftershock, and then
Honestly,
I
I
don't
think that
know,
might
man.
be it.
It's
As
so
far as
far away.
confirmed shows, that might be the only one.
yeah.
Sweet. So there you go. Hit
Yeah.
those guys up. Awesome dudes to hang out with. Thanks for coming in, guys. Gus, if they want to get a hold of us, the 2 dudes.
2dudesandamic.com, or you can check us out on Facebook, Instagram, not really Twitter.
Nobody uses
We're the
Twitter.
Same.
I don't- yeah.
Same.
We're the
We
same.
just have it auto-populate whatever we post
Like
on Instagram.
2
goes to-
days. 2 days after our album came out, one of our managers was like, "Hey, should we update the banner on Twitter without now?"
No.
Leave it.
Those 4 people are not going to see it.
No.
Search 2 Dudes and a Mic.
That's it. Here we go. So everybody listening, guys, girls, the end of episode 1 for season 2. Here we go. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. Shoot your shot.